Hello and welcome to the next part of Because We're Here. Now, last time a lot of things happened. With a lot, I mean, essentially being ambushed in a way, and August dying, and Eugen having a hard time, and Wolf's shutting down. So yeah, Elfriede has a lot of stuff on her plate now. Oh man, that moment when you only visit the trenches for one day and you already go home with a lifetime of trauma. Man. Shortly after we return, Otto takes me to the officer's dugout in the apartments. Corporal Zangt sits me down. He seems stoic about the matter. I'm sorry you had to see that on your first visit to the trenches. It appears that the evening's forecasted shelling took place a little earlier than we had anticipated. But miscalculations like that occur every day. August was... killed in action. Because of me. August died because of me. I jumped up and then he came to save me and... You have my condolences, really. And I think it's better if you leave for now. I'm not the field post woman. What? Sang takes a short step back and slowly rests his hand on the grip of his revolver. I lied so I could look around the trench, check if everyone was alright. No, August. Horst relaxes his grasp and straightens up again. Christ, was that a close one? He moves to the rusted old kettle and pours himself a mug of cheap tea. I'm not offered one. If you leave right now, and if you do not return, I overlook the possible implications that your actions today may have had for Wales' fate. This man has either never dealt with the bereaved before, or more likely has forgotten how to deal with someone who cares. The cloth covering the dugout entrance is drawn outside with a swish, and Lance Corporal Junkers enters. Hi, Elfriede. We just took in August's... Corporal Zangt shoots Otto a wary gaze, and he corrects himself accordingly. Private Wales body. I thought you would be interested to know that he's confirmed dead. I genuinely have no words for how pathetically futile and attempted commiseration that is. Is this honestly Otto's idea of small talk? And I was wondering if you'd like to keep hold of this. Otto produces something from inside his jacket. It's the envelope pin that August wore on his collar. It's a memento of the post office uniform. I take it and clasp it tightly. Yeah. It was quite a frivolous affection. Gracious reminded of civilian life are sure to sap the strength of a soldier. Snapping at him isn't gonna change anything. You really think that's why this happened? For real? Is this genuinely what you think was responsible? Strength being sapped? Do you not know what happened? He got shot in it wasn't anything to do with his spirit. Do you honestly think you're helping? That any of this is relevant? Well, if he had committed himself fully to this life, he might not have allowed a distraction like... Horst. The two men make eye contact, and Otto offers a short, barely perceptible shake of his head. Ignore me. You're right, this is irrelevant. I was just talking on. I apologize if I caused any distress. It's alright. Horst used to be like you know. Corporal Zangt chumps slightly, and some of his tea drips over the edge of his mug. Must have burned his hand, but he clearly has other matters on his mind. Junkers. Corporal Zangt over here enlisted as a private just like the rest of us. And in his first week, his platoon found themselves in the Battle of Rogan. Did you hear about the one of the home front? I imagine not. It was a massacre. I killed 12, I think. Took it right out of me, though. Junkers, hold your tongue. She's been here a couple hours now. She knows what's going on. Fair point. Anyway, what does a young private do when every one of his university buddies is killed in front of him? That's right, not just one, or one blinded. Every single one slain right there and then. Corporal Sankt, you were at university? How old are you exactly? 21. What? 21? You're younger than me? Younger than you, younger than me, younger than Reinhold and Hausmann and Bergengrün and Weil. Good rest. You know why he doesn't seem it, of course? Because when things like this happen every day, you do tend to age a good 10 to 20 years in the meantime. The point I'm trying to make is, you soon learn to live with all of it. With the help of a little life advice from old Otto, while you're covering in a crater, wailing about being back in a punt, of course. Junkers, dismissed. All I'm saying is, don't judge Horst too harshly. He isn't a sociopath, he's just a good soldier, a really good one. Under my careful tutelage, naturally. Otto, shut up. Horst visibly relaxes and reclines in his chair, sipping his tea. Seems even he's susceptible to flattery. It's probably quite hard to come by out here. Death is a natural part of the human experience. The animal kingdom sees the unlucky and unfit specimen die out so they can make way for successes that will advance the species as a whole. I confess, as both the Darwinist and a Malthusian, I don't find myself morally troubled by the war, but I know that when personal feelings get involved, it's never easy. However, you must try and understand that it is natural, sometimes necessary. It is never necessary. It may be natural, but it is not necessary. I actually did know most of the words. And I don't trust men who call themselves Darwinists as a biologist. I don't trust them. I mean, believing in evolution is very important, however, Nope. I can't support that theory. I'm sorry, but that's claptrap. I don't know how you can boil it all down to that. Well, with respect, I think I've had a bit more opportunity to contemplate all this. I always value a fresh perspective of things, Miss Elfriede, but you might have to yield to expertise here. I studied that shit. Expertise? How is any of this an appropriate conclusion to have drawn? How can you claim expertise when you didn't even know August? Because it's the only conclusion to draw. And I did know him, I knew him well, you're forgetting where he spent the last half a year. I'm sorry, I don't mean what I'm saying. Hang on, suddenly Otto's earlier words come rushing back to me, and I remember the question I had intended to ask at the time. Wait, that thing you said before. One killed, one blinded. What exactly was that in reference to? Ah, Eugen's been blinded, huh? Oh, cripes. I didn't mean to. Otto sighs and readjusts his spectacles. Well, I suppose you had to find out eventually. Reinhold's days as lookout are over for good. Eugen's? Completely blind. It's got a pretty blood across the face. It's very lucky to still be with us, if it makes a difference. Across the face rather than straight through, as all of us can hope for, whenever there's that amount of mental hurling in our direction. So yes, that would be him done for the war. Eugen? I don't know, I know I don't need to say this, but you should pay him a visit on your way out. I think he would appreciate it. Yeah, obviously. I rise to leave. I'm still shaking and wobbling all over the place with nerves. But it's 5:10 already. I have to go. I mean, I want to stay. I want with all my heart to leave my life in this place. But I can't. I'm well aware that I can't. Goodbye, Miss Rose. Oh, and what? Nothing that happened today was your fault. It's going to happen sooner or later. This is war. This is war. Affirmative. War is heck. Yeah. Once I'm in the fresh air again, I notice Wolf slumped against the wall across from the bunkers. Walter Bergengruen is sitting by him, stretching on a crumpled wad of paper. It's cold. Biting. I suppose there's not much between us and the elements. Berggruen is stone-faced, though. Wolf? Wolf, I'm going now. I don't know when I'm going to return. He's done. What do you mean? Bergengruen doesn't look up from his sketchpad. Shell shock. He's dead to the world. He'll carry on like this until the next battle. Then that's the end of him. Can't they send him home? They won't. The end. He'll snap out of it. He really won't. I know this man. He's tough. He's always looking for a fight. And he's powered by pure hate for the Leyland. He said he didn't think he would kill. He said he didn't think he killed a single Leylandian. That's the one thing he came here to do. None of us have killed any Leylandians. We have not had any real battles yet. We've just had machine gunning. And there's been brave and stupider men than Hausmann who'd been done in by shell shock. He'd been in battle before, but I guess it can happen any time. And it makes sense that it come on now, with what happened earlier. Trust me, though, it's the end. So, what's your grand plan? What do you think you're going to do so much better than Wolf? I don't. Well, if I ever end up like he has, I hope nobody would make such a clawing a spectacle of it. Why are you being like this? Who do you think you're helping? If I can shut you up, I'm helping all of us. I'm not sitting in the trenches just so we can listen to you wail on. We're here for Wrestling, and there's a reason discipline is important. Idiotic townswomen can't just turn up at the front because they feel like it. Can't I just talk to Wolf? Fine. I don't think he would want you to apologize. Please wake up. Please, Wolf. No, I don't know what I expected. I'm sorry, Wolf. It's just all too much to bear. August's dead, and Eugen's blind, and you're like this. I'm sorry. I don't know when he'll be back, but I will save you, I swear it. No matter what it comes down to. You're not going into battle like this. Yes, he is. Fuck off. Isn't that your job? This place is for soldiers. I'm going now, Wolf. Take care. You won't. Do you always need to have the last word? Do you? Can you shut up? I leave Bergengruen alone after that. Wolf's situation is heartbreaking, both his new psychological condition and having to keep that loud company. At the very entrance of Windmill Corner, I spy the man I'm here to meet, but the good doctor is currently tending to another familiar face. With a lump in my throat and dread in my heart, I make my way over to Marius and Eugen. Elfriede. Eugen turns to face me, and it's not nearly too much to bear. Frida? Hello, Eugen. Hi, Marius. How come you've got your medical stuff? I thought you were just meeting me here. My company lost a good few to shelling while I was absent, so we got combined with second. Second company, sorry. Anyway, there was a surplus of medical men, so I've been reassigned to I-8th here. As soon as I got here, I was called over to patch up Reinhold. I offered him bandages, but he wanted to conserve supplies. I've made him this out of an old shirt. His disfigurement is grave. I'm sorry. Kindly abstain from making any requests to see under my cloth, my lady. Apparently it's quite a mess. Eugen, how do you feel? Pain? A lot of pain. And... I've given him... I've given him a lot of morphine. Medically induced abstraction. The perfect accompaniment for a world without light. The optic nerve's been completely severed in both eyes. He's blind. Yes, Otto said that this was one of the most favorable outcomes. The fact that Eugen von Reinhold still draws breath is, if anything, something to hold close to my heart at a time like this. I cannot imagine my mother's face. Were she to get the letter that Violet's mother thankfully did not outlive her son in order to receive? Eugen, I shouldn't have come. I should never have come. You did nothing, and I regret my actions not. To sustain such an injury in the protection of a lady is the highest honor a fellow can hope to receive. Young Vale butchered the job, so if anything, it's that knave's fault. Apologies, such a black comment was inappropriate. No, I'm starting to realize that's the way things are around here. I cannot help but wonder whether a more dutiful lookout could have saved Vale. I was distracted by the events of the day, as we were all. Now I found myself on the defensive. Apologies. I mean, it's the best we all can do right now. We all could have done things differently, Eugen. Corporal Zhang told me that we can't hold ourselves responsible for this. And if you do want to blame someone, then surely it would have to be me. I suppose you're right. Re-examining the event is an activity without merit, and I certainly would not wish to infer any culpability on your part, my lady. Please do not misunderstand. This is hardly my first dalliance with the forces of the Eternal. My compatriots have been shuffling off the coin left and right ever since I arrived. And a steely outlook serves a man well out here, so usually I hesitate to bat an eyelid. But Vale was a more trusted comrade than most, so I'm finding it difficult to know the appropriate reaction. Whatever you're feeling is the appropriate reaction. There's no correct way to deal with something like this. I don't think anyone can really judge Eugen for being awkward right now. But I'm gobsmacked that he's still forcing his usual noble affections at a time like this. I'm aware of what an insane amount of willpower that must be taking, and I'm aware of how completely misdirected that willpower is. How can we talk to him about any of this if he's still just deflecting everything? Of course he can open up to us, doesn't he realize that? He probably needs a minute. It hasn't been a day yet. Has he honestly forgotten how to be sincere? So, what's your next move? They're sending me to a field hospital nearby. The most sanitary of locations, but... Not the most sanitary of locations, but needs must. We assess the patient and he'll be fine. And then, who knows, it's possible that Private Reinhold's role in this war has come to an end. So, you're coming back to Boschberg? Worst case scenario, yes. Worst case? Eugen, you don't mean... The war was only just beginning, Elfriede. I can't be taken out of it so soon. I am hanging around the front as long as I can persuade them to let me. I'll find something to do, there'll be something. I am loath to simply throw in the towel and let this whole idea defeat me quite so easily. Eugen, you escaped the war. It's over for you, just like it is for August. Please just be thankful that you got a more favorable termination than some people did. Elfriede, I do not act to belittle Val's sacrifice, I act in its honor. If he can give his life for the cause, then I must at least stand firm in his place, and not concede all notions of heroism when fighting has barely begun. But you've come back. But if you come back, your life will be close to normal as it could be. If you join the Home Guard, Helmut's doing so well back in Boschberg. Everyone's impressed by how he's helping the war effort. Zenger's putting the people's mind at rest with a wholly empty gesture. And he's miserable. And you know that. Do you still think August has attained the pinnacle of manhood? Perfect and beautiful. Now that's happened. Is that what you think? Yes? Then we're fundamentally at odds here. Frieda, sorry to press you, but we've got to be heading back if we're going to meet Ron in time for your train. Alright. Eugen, I have to go now, but I'm so sorry about everything. And I'm grateful, very grateful. I might have been dead if you hadn't acted. So, whatever our differences in perspective here, I still owe you my life. That's all I could ever hope for. Eugen, your eyes, today will haunt me to my grave. But I will find some way to repay you, I swear it. It's not your fault. But if you wish to repay me that badly, just waiting in Boschberg when I finally do return a hero. I would rather see you there as soon as I can. But sure, I'll be waiting for you whenever, Eugen. As I leave Eugen behind, my mind is racing. It's good that he doesn't see this as the end of his life, but it's worrying that he won't admit it's the end of his usefulness to the war. What is he planning on even doing? I hope any level of military administration he tried to sneak past would catch him, but it seems one shouldn't place too much faith in the proper processes out here. I hope he'll be alright. Marius and I walk to the entrance of Windmill Corner. I turn and take one last look back before I leave and carry August's brooch in my pocket. My memory of my time in the trenches. My keepsake from August. The symbol of all that was right with the world, and all that was wrong with it. I can't keep this on my person. I know that I will overload. If I do join the Postal Corps, I feel like this was a constant reminder that I could just return home at any time, and I don't want to feel like that's ever an option. But an item so close to my heart can definitely serve a purpose in someone else's hand. And it's dawned on me exactly who I want to entrust it to. Right now there's only one man I know, as in know, that I can rely on. You may now select the route of your choosing. Guide Elfriede to fulfill her child's true desire. Admittedly, August's route didn't work out amazingly for her. But please note that all characters' wider roles in the storyline, including any unfortunate twists of fate, are unaltered by your choice of route. So you basically mean if someone's gonna die, he's gonna die. And we can do nothing about it. Alright. In addition, Elfriede's dialogue choices thus far have now coming into effect. The levels of affection with each character will have risen or fallen in line with how she acted towards them throughout the story. Some choices, such as this one, lead to a scene in which a more favorable outcome can be achieved if her chosen partner feels sufficiently affectionate towards her. Hmm. If they do not, then the scene will be swiftly curtailed. But you will be warned of this before confirming your choice. And again, you are given frequent chances to change the road if a character's development is not to your liking or if a preferable match comes to the fore, so the choice is never binding. If you do not wish to play because we has a romance, you might prefer Walter's road. I see. He's a pretty rotten guy. Instead of opening her heart to one of the other characters, Frida can find catharsis by taking him to task. Walter has not a potential love interest, and his scenes have slightly less content. I appreciate the honesty here. To be honest, I was kind of interested how his road would go, because of him being such an asshole. I've realized that the answer is unavoidable and so obvious it hurts. I know who it is I can actually tag to right now, the only man who I think I could have this conversation with. Really, Walter would be so fucking hilarious if he was actually around right now. Like, yeah, you talked shit to someone I really cared about. But here, have this pin of the other man I really cared about and died in my arms. You're the perfect guy to entrust this to. Oh my god. But, oof. This is a bit hard of a choice, you know. This is really hard of a choice. Maybe I shouldn't be tempted to choose Walter simply because it would be hilarious. No, I shouldn't. I shouldn't choose for reasons like that. I shouldn't. But it would be so funny to try to give him this thing. It would be hilarious. Honestly, let's do Helmut. Or Marius. I do know Helmut longer, so Helmut it is. Marius walks me back, and Gottfried and I get to the train home in near silence. We arrive in Boschberg just as night is beginning to fall. Gottfried bids me good night and heads to his hotel. I tell him I'm going home myself, having declined his offer to walk me back, but I know there's somewhere I have to go before I can rest. I have come with trauma. Helmut is patrolling the manor under the blanket of the night. He cuts an unusual figure, lurching forward irregularly and barking commands under his breath so not to wake Mrs. Reinhold. The thing that makes it 10 times worse is how deathly serious he is about this, but I'm at least glad that he is awake. Left, right, left, right. Helmut? Oh, Elfriede, you're back. It is rather late. What are you doing out here? I came to talk to you. To me? That's quite flattering. But should you not sleep, we could talk tomorrow if you would prefer. You know, it might be better if she talks out her heart first before she tries to sleep. I do not think her dreams are gonna show her something pretty tonight. Should you not sleep? From the man breathlessly parading in his own front garden at midnight? Harsh, but on the nose. There's a bench nearby. Mrs. Reinhold likes to feed the pigeons here. Helmut and I slowly make our way over and sit, and I tell him everything. I break down in tears numerous times, and our cheeks are wet by the end. He placed his hand on the bag in consolation before breaking the silence. My prayers are with August. I am so sorry to hear of his passing, Elfriede. Perhaps a soul like his was just not fit for war. He was a good soldier. He had grown immeasurably. Everyone said so. He just still didn't have a chance. None of them feel like they have a chance. I'm finding the news very difficult to swallow, I must admit. 3/4 of the fellows wiped out, and with them August and Eugen, well, Eugen's prospect of a healthy, normal life. It truly breaks my heart that Master Eugen now finds himself consigned to the same dustbin as his humble servant. But it wasn't his fault. There was nothing any of them could have done. No amount of preparation could help. It wasn't because of anything they did. With the amount of solitary literature I have imbibed, and only really being able to imagine my surprise to hear a report on this arbitrary justice that the men have supposedly surrendered themselves to. This is surely a new frontier for armed conflict, although I'm not sure it is necessary much of a progression. I just don't know how I'm going to cope at the post office. Every second is going to be... Helmut adjusts his spectacles and takes his hand from my back, placing it on my hand instead and looking me in the eye with quiet determination. Elfriede, if you ever need to discuss these matters, feel free to seek me out. Any time of the day, whenever I am in the middle of. I'll be there to hear you out. Helmut. Helmut sighs deeply and looks out to the distance. It is bizarre to think that Master Eugen is not taking this as his cue to return home, but I suppose nobody acts irrationally without reason. You do not have to look any further than myself to put that theory to test. It's far from Eugen's insanity. As a matter of fact, I want you to ask you something. Oh? I was wondering if you would take care of this. I hold the pin out to Helmut, and he takes it, squinting at it for a second or two before pocketing it and looking back up at me with a smile. CG! Certainly. If you don't mind me asking, what exactly, It's August's brooch. They recovered it from the body. Ah, August, I see. The man who found and lost everything. Are you saying you envy August? Because he died over there? That is part of what I meant. But only part. In any case, I can most assuredly safeguard this if you would like me to. Why not keep it yourself, though? It's a symbol of my resolve. I'm sorry if this comes as a shock to you, but please, acknowledge that my mind is made up, and this is just something I have to do. I'm becoming a field post woman. For definite. And I'm not at all ready to leave the trenches. I waded in and ruined my life alongside Eugen's and maybe in Wolf's. And I can't just leave things like that. I'm sorry, but I need to do it. Helmut's grim smile will stay with me until the day I die. Elfriede, even you. Helmut pointed me towards this in the first place, but the way he's acting. I suppose seeing it actually happen is a very different thing to have to process. His gaze drops and he fixates on the ground ahead for a good few seconds. Then, hands on a stick, he straightens up. Turning to face me on the bench, he affects the most grand salute he can muster. I understand. I won't insult you by trying to change your mind. My only request is that you stay safe, or at least make your best efforts to. I was planning on it. And know that I will always be here, to bestow your endeavors with whatever support I have to spare. Boschberg is a remarkably easy fort to hold. He's the start, absolutely the start. What, is this really concern, or... And yes, in response to your question, I will keep your brooch, August brooch, safe. If you ever find things to be overbearing, just clasp yours to your chest, and remember that I'm right here, waiting to give it back to you when you return safe and sound. And I can't think of anyone more reliable than Captain Zenger of the Boschberg Home Guard. Now you should be getting to bed. Would you like me to walk you home? Oh no, don't worry yourself, Helmut, it isn't worth it. No, it really isn't worth it at all, is it? I can offer you company, but escort duties may be, well, outside of my capabilities. Thank you anyway, though. My pleasure. Helmut goes to speak, but reconsiders. He tries again, and this time he gets the words out. One of these days, I will be able to protect you from all of this. All I ask is that you hold on a little longer. Well, I'm willing to wait, Helmut. You'll be a fine soldier. You are already a fine soldier. People just haven't realized yet. And hearing you say that makes the rest of it feel worthwhile. And well, not all of it, but a good amount. Good night, Miss Rance. Are you going to bed soon? I've got an hour or two left to train. I will master the fourth march yet. The fourth march, that advanced technique. Before I leave, I clasp my hand onto Helmut's, still resting atop his stick. I give him a swift peck on the cheek. Clearly thrown, he anxiously fixes his posture and searches for words of farewell. Before he can find them, I have made a sharp exit. Please don't push yourself, though. Please do not push yourself. As I walk away, I know I've made the right choice. I meant what I said about Helmut being the most reliable person in my life right now, and it would destroy him to know this, but it comforts me to know that he's physically unable to leave Boschberg. That is definitely understandable after what you just went through. It will be a long time before his training pays off, if ever. And the number one thing I need in my life right now is someone I can trust, and for them to be staying as far away from the trenches as possible. And I'm sorry, Helmut. You may not hold yourself in high regard, but to me you're perfect. Congratulations! You scored the perfect on all battles of wits in Arc 1. You have unlocked one final piece of bonus art. Man, they looked very different. They looked so different. These alternate designs for Eugen and Wolf came to courtesy of G.R. Bartels because we're sprite artists and are based on a friend's early concept sketches. They are now available for viewing anytime in the CG gallery of the main menu. And this seems to be the end of Arc 1. What a journey. What a journey. And I guess this will also be where this Let's Play is ending. And then I will play Act 2 privately. But really, God Almighty. That sure was something. Phew. Story continues in Arc 2. Alright, this is it. This was quite an interesting experience. Quite well written too, I must say. And Good lord, you really got me. I really thought August was gonna be like the true route or Mr. Cannon Boy, you know? But no, it's because he's gonna die and there's nothing we can do about it. Lord Almighty. Well, I guess we'll see. Or rather, I will see how it continues from here. If you liked what you saw here, please consider buying Because We're Here for yourself as well. And also see how it continues from here. I wonder how many people are gonna die. My heart only can take so much of a beating. Okay, now. Alrighty. Then this is here where this Let's Play ends. See you for the next Let's Play. Until then, bye.